just had the latest inflation figures out, and it's not good for Bitcoin. PPI inflation came out just now hotter than expected. The headline figure, 0.7 versus the expected 0.4%. Remember, we were already expecting headline inflation figures to go high. We saw that yesterday, but it went too high. And yesterday, we even saw an uptick in the core inflation figures on the CPI. Today, with the PPI, which are the producer prices, remember, producer prices move before consumer prices, right? This gives you a precursor of where things are heading. These have come in too hot, and now the markets have to get prepared for potential more rate hikes. What does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for the wider markets? We're going to break that down and a lot more. If you appreciate these real-time updates, this has just come out. Smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. You're always going to get that kind of a data here. No sensationalism, no moonboy stuff, just the real data you need to make your trading and investment decisions. Now, as you can see here, actual inflation came out headline 0.7%. We know a lot of this is driven by oil and energy prices, but this is too much. Markets had already priced in 0.4%, okay? They were expecting 0.4%, and 0.4% annualized is 4.8%, but 0.7% annualized is 8.4% headline inflation. That is not fun whatsoever. The core figures came in much more in line, 0.2% versus 0.2% expected, and slightly down from the 0.3% in the previous month. Retail sales still quite hot, 0.6%, although expected was 0.7%, but still a big uptick versus the 0.1%. All of this to say, the US growth is exceptional. The economy is doing too well. And this is not what Jerome Powell wants. Remember, Jerome Powell wants to break the back of the economy. He needs a little bit of unemployment. He needs weakening retail sales. He needs inflation to cool down, to get himself back down to that 2% target. But it looks like inflation has well and truly reared its head again. And this is going to be a worrying sign for Jerome Powell, for the Feds. And now we need to decide, are we going to price in more interest rate hikes? Are we going to get one, maybe even two this year before we're done? Remember, September the 20th, which is just 6 days away from now, markets are not expecting a rate hike. They've priced in a pause. I think over the next 6 days, we could see more and more of the market starting to price in the cheeky idea that we could get 25 basis points next week, right? With the data we've just had, we could get a surprise 25 basis points because inflation is rearing its head. It's not under control. Now, the majority of the market actually thinks that Jerome Powell's going to remain calm. They think he's going to remain calm. He's not going to do a rate hike next week, but November the 1st, he's then going to go ahead and do 25 basis points. This is where people are pricing that bet in. Now, this percentage of the market, 60% of the market almost, which is a lot, guys, expect him to not do anything next month and not do anything on November the 1st. Wow, that's got to rotate out because I think we are going to be set for an interest rate at least by November the 1st. That's my personal take, is I think he will do 25 basis points at least by November. Now, what markets are hoping is that this is just a blip, right? But we've heard this before. They're saying, oh, it's okay, it's just a blip in the inflation because Saudi and Russia got together and messed up the oil prices. But we know that WTI crude is now at $90 a barrel. That's a lot. And that is what's affecting markets. So if we jump across to Bitcoin, you can see immediately when the news came out, you saw trading activity take a move to the upside and then it fell to the downside. Now markets are trying to recover. Bitcoin is sat here at 26.4. It's not looking too shabby. But remember what I said. We need to see a 4-hourly candle close above here. If we can get that nice candle close right above that wick there, we're going to be back in business, right? So we're really close now. Just want to get above 26.463 and we can start building our momentum. And then the next pivot point is here. There's a little bit of resistance coming in at 26.8, and then we can work to the major resistance at 27.7 at this dotted yellow line. That's what I'm looking for here in the Bitcoin price in the immediate term. Longer term, we know what the situation is. We're running into our EMA ribbon. So I would not be super excited right now in this price action. There's no, crazy excitement from a fundamental perspective that leads me to believe, oh, look, we're going to go for a massive move. All we've got is Bitcoin moving nicely over the last 3 days into its EMA ribbon, right? And until we can change this, until this EMA ribbon can start crumpling together again, remember, it's very extended right now. All the lines of the EMA ribbon are very stretched out, which shows that the bears have strong control of this trend. When we dumped here, We consolidated for a while. Now we're getting a relief rally into the EMA ribbon. For things to change in my mind, we need to get much here above 27.2 and a daily close above 27.2 to reclaim the daily EMA ribbon. Then I'll start to change my stance and say, okay, maybe we can form this big double bottom W reversal pattern and start working our way to the upside. Until that happens, I'm still a little bit worried. And what I'm worried about is that we could just get rejected by this EMA ribbon and send back down for lower lows, down towards 25 and potentially lower, right? Because the bears still control the trend. I haven't changed my mind on that just yet. Now, of course, this latest inflation data adds to our woes, right? It adds to our concerns that risk will rotate off. The inflation figures coming high is extra buoyancy here for the US dollar index, which we know has been the main reason we've been struggling on crypto recently. Look at this, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are in the 9th consecutive green week for the dollar index here. I mean, this is just phenomenal. And this shows how quickly this market is rotating to risk off. And to encapsulate this idea, if you wanted to label this idea, this is, oh crap, inflation is back. This economy is too healthy. We cannot get inflation down to 2%. That is what that means right there. So that's why we are seeing a rotation to risk off assets. This is not good for the NASDAQ, not good for Bitcoin, of course, not good for altcoins. So even though Bitcoin last couple of days here is having a nice move, right? This is where we're at, 1 week here after 4 negative weeks to the downside. I cannot buy into this, that this is a change of trend just yet. I can't. Like I just showed you on the daily EMA ribbon, we're well below it. On the weekly EMA ribbon, we're below it, right? So I cannot change my mind here, especially when the dollar index is absolutely rampant, right? It's flipped its weekly EMA ribbon. It's well above it. It's extended. The ribbons are crossing over each other. This is not a great recipe for Bitcoin. Dollar index is trying its best. It's already met this price target at this pivot point. It's now meeting the second one, and then it's going to want to work to the top of the wedge, right? So that's at 108 level, and then it's going to want to try to get back to these levels all the way up here of where it was just in September of 2022, kind of getting up to these levels up at 115. And that will be painful Bitcoin. If we do start playing out that scenario towards the end of this year and early next year, Bitcoin can go to 20. It can go down to 16,500 to test some of those levels. So that's what I'm waiting for right now. Now, of course, we need to get some positive catalysts in the market, right? What can they be? Will we get a spot ETF approval? Looks like the SEC's dragging their foot. We still got Binance FUD going around. Maybe there's some more news to come out around Binance and CZ. That could worry the markets as well. From a negative situation, we still got the Solana FTX kind of dump going on of all their assets and tokens as well. That's going to weigh in on the market. So it's a pretty risky moment in the market right now. And I'm sitting on the sidelines waiting for a dip with a little bit of cash on the sidelines to buy those dips. Maybe we won't get them, but I'm ready for them just in case. If you appreciate type of updates, live, direct, with the updates you need, smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to go watch this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.